all that stuff, or do I want to get into, in smart manufacturing, and essentially, if I don't shoot someone, I got a job for life? I mean, if you're a four-year school, I don't know what you're selling.
You're actually seeing that now. Enrollment at four-year schools, especially private institutions, is dropping. Enrollment at community colleges is up, and enrollment at trade schools are up. People who are learning to be plumbers, carpenters, electricians. This is up because these are skills that are always in demand. So
yes, and I think actually, let me interject something. I think some young people, millennials plus, have learned from the Great Recession when their fathers, their mothers were highfalutin, whatever you want to call it, marketing directors, managing directors, and fired. And they're thinking, wait a second. And one thing I did learn in life, it's better to make $80,000 over 40 years than go 120, 0, 180, 0. Do you agree or not?
Yes.
No, absolutely. It's true. It sounds
absolutely.
Like a simplistic analysis, but it's actually, the tortoise beats the hare in many occasions, and also the job opportunity. So I think it's a sidetrack, but an interesting one. So really the quintessential question, Dr. Lopkin, is who wins this battle, impeachment and investigations or Trump's economy? That's really what it boils down to. That's the end.
A few months ago, even I'd say a year, 2 years ago, people would have said I was crazy for saying this. But at this point, it has gone back to traditional values. It is, to quote Bill Clinton, it's the economy, stupid.
Is it still the economy, stupid, my friend? Because 20 years ago, I would say no doubt. I don't know the way.
It is again. The effect of the Obama administration, the further we get away from it, the more successful the economy comes, the more people realize, oh, that was really a bad idea. And you have these people on the left who are yelling about income inequality, which is a legitimate problem, but they don't have an answer to solve it. But what they fail to realize is they always complain about the number of billionaires that capitalism creates. Well, here's a statistic I heard the other day that is very important to remember. For every billionaire that capitalism creates, 250,000 people have been lifted out of poverty.
Oh, there's no question about that. And I actually believe this whole billionaire socialist kind of thing is all due to Obama and the Great Recession, really centered on more millennials. And rightfully so. If you grew up during the Great Recession, Occupy Wall Street, capitalism is broke. I mean, we were essentially in a depression. I mean, it wasn't funny. So I can understand it, but I think that ship is leaving the port. I actually think, and I want your comment, I think it's not 100% the economy stupid as it was in 1990. I just don't believe 92. I don't believe that. I think social justice warriors have taken a foothold, especially for a younger audience. But I do think it's still the economy, not like it was, but it's still important.
No, it's not as strong a call as it was during the Clinton years.
No,
but
I do think overall.
What you're seeing is with the social justice warriors, yes, the millennials are big into that. However, now, where in 2016 you didn't have this, you have Gen Z as a factor. This is the generation following the millennials. In 2016, they were not old enough to vote. Now they are. And Gen Z is not social justice warriors. Gen Z is, can I get a job? Oh, the economy is booming. They don't like what the millennials have been doing.
Isn't it interesting, though, that isn't the millennials kind of a bust generation? I think there'll be an interesting piece for sociologists and historical archaeologists, because I think they're interesting. They're a unique grew up under unique situations, recessions, Obama, the internet, the birth of the internet. Very, very fascinating, but I think they're having less and less influence.
Yeah, you know what? They grew up under unique circumstances, but they're not a unique generation. If you listen to what they talk about, if you listen to the issues that they care about, and if you look at the actions they take, they are no different from the hippie generation in the 60s.
Oh, yeah, no, I think that's a beautiful analysis. I think they're very, very similar, under similar circumstances, believe it or not. The baby boom generation, I do this from demographers I've talked to. Yes, they had tough times getting jobs. You grew up in the,
Yes.
where they came to age in the 70s or late 60s were good. But in the 70s, there wasn't a lot of jobs. That's how Bill Gates and others did what they did. We became entrepreneurs because there was, so yes, very, very similar. So what do you think overall? You think you think Trump can weather the storm?
I think he will weather the storm, yes. I mean, I think he's going to take some damage, but overall, he's still going to come out on top.
I believe that. Now, on a lighter note, the baseball controversy, I think that's very interesting. It's much more serious than I thought. There could be an asterisk next to or just a removal of the pennant.
Yeah, you're talking about an asterisk next to Houston Astros winning their World Series, an asterisk next to the Boston Red Sox winning their World Series. You've had 3 managers so far lose their jobs. So, yeah, baseball is looking into this. They're really investigating, and they're trying to investigate as fast as possible because at this point, we're only about 20 days from pitchers and catchers reporting for spring training.
And that's what baseball did not need. I thought it was a good World Series. They need all the help they can get in terms of growing the brand, growing the franchise. You don't need this. You know, it's a declining sport, especially for young people, and you don't need this kind of controversy.
Yeah, no, they're doing a lot of things to rebuild the brand, a lot of things to bring new viewers in. This was the last thing they needed.
Agree. And finally, Derek Jeter, Hall of Famer, I have to say, best shortstop I know of all time.
Yeah, I mean, there was never any doubt he was going to make it into the Hall of Fame. The only thing that surprised people was of the votes, there was one person that actually voted against him. We don't know who that person is, but it was not.
There's always someone to try to make a name.
It was not a unanimous vote. Everybody expected it would be. Yeah, as a New Yorker, I have to say, not just for his play on the field, which of course was amazing, but he was a real mensch off the field. He treated fans well. He participated with helping nonprofits. He became part of New York. He really deserved the Hall of Fame spot.
Agreed 100%, and a great way to end this edition of Carnivore Bites. And some very interesting announcements, if you'd like to share that, Dr. Lopkin. This whole platform is really taking off on CarnivoreRadio.com.
It is. Carnivore Radio has expanded, so now you still have the Carnivore Bites coming out every Wednesday with analysis about current events. Every Monday, you now have the Carnivore News Brief. This is just headlines, what you need to know for the week ahead. No analysis, just straight news, and we encourage our listeners to actually do the investigation, look into the headlines and look behind the headlines and make up your own minds. And then in February, we bring back Carnivore Radio, but we're bringing it back online rather than terrestrial radio. So you will have a chance on Fridays to call in, talk to our guests, and actually be part of the conversation. And that'll be starting in February.
Very excited. We're all looking forward to it. And I think this is going to be an exciting opportunity for everyone. Thank you, Dr. Lopkin.
See you next week.
You've been listening to Carnivore Bites, part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can catch us every week on CarnivoreRadio.com, Exvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcast Store, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you find podcasts.